Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Sit Down and Lock Down, the show where I interview comedians and performers, and we just have a nice, awesome chat together with you guys who are hopefully tuned in right now. I see a few people tuned in. That's great. Please don't be afraid to ask us questions. Don't be afraid to, I'll at any point try and get to your question and we'll have a bit of fun. I'm doing something a bit different this week. I am not putting a QR code on the screen because some people have told me that that's annoying. But you can always let me know in the comments below if you think that was annoying, because I'm trying to understand what you guys want. So there's a link in the description below where you can still donate. Like I said, I do this all the time with the performers. For every performer that's on the show, all the all the money after the proceeds, 80% of that will go to Robyn in this case, and 20% to me. So please just bear that in mind. And if you enjoyed it, give a bit of a dish. I don't know why I said dish. Give a bit of a donation. Hello, Nabila. Thank you so much for tuning in. You are so cool, man. You're like every show you're here. This is awesome. Tell everyone. Go on Facebook, and then try and grab them by the what would be their ears, and pull them over here to YouTube, and let's have some fun. Okay, so without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to introduce your guest for tonight, or our guest for tonight. She is one hell of a funny chick, and I say that with the most respect ever, because she's actually been traveling, she's been gigging all over the world, and we will talk about that just now. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the very beautiful, the wonderful Robyn Dunlop.
I don't know if you can see me yet.
They can see you. Yeah, they can see you. You're on. You're
Please
live.
call me beautiful in so long.
Well, that's
I
'cause
haven't been hit on by creepy dudes in a bar in forever.
Yeah, man. I don't know if it's like lockdown vibe or whatever, but it seems to me like women are going a bit crazy. I don't know. I've seen some funny shit.
I've always been crazy. See my last three shows.
Well, Robyn, tell us, how are you, and is there anything that you miss during the lockdown besides stage time, besides performance?
Ooh, I am well. Thank you for asking. How are you?
I'm good.
No, I'm doing okay, thanks. What do I miss the most? Honestly, I was telling someone today what I miss the most, and please don't call me an alcoholic because I know I am, okay? I'm dealing with it. You know, the first step is acceptance. They never said you have to go to step two immediately. But what I honestly miss is like drinking white wine with no scam because you know you can just go to the shop tomorrow and get another bottle.
Yeah.
That's what I miss. Like now I'm drinking red. Sorry, Mom, I have some of your red. Because I finished the white because I'm like drinking it like it's gold. And I'm
Oh man, I think.
waiting for level 3. They can deliver.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people watching feel your pain. So every now and again, I might interrupt you just to address some of the comments that are coming through. We have Oba King Moreau who's watching. Word up, Joe. Thank you, buddy, for tuning in. We have, like I said, Nabila who said Robs with.
Yeah, Nabila is the best. Honestly, you are my new favorite person. You just on everything to do with comedy. You're awesome.
Yeah.
Please keep it going. And if you ever escape from Zim again, you are welcome to stay with me.
I wanted to tell Nabila last time that she tuned in and I forgot. Nabila, just so you know, once everything's done, once we're back to normal, there's a job for you at Comedy Cartel. Just saying. I'm gonna hire you, but you can't do it in Zim. You need to be in South Africa. So take Robyn's offer. Then we have Titi Marobi who says
So
Robyn.
Titi and I went to varsity together.
Yeah, she says fellow rodent. Or,
Rodent. Yeah. But it's so weird, right? So we got connected through a friend of mine, who him and I were in the DA student organization back then, and she was really close with him, and then we became friends, and then the DA went to shit, And now, but we reconnected now. It's really cool. I mean, I should not speak politics. I don't say anything about politics anymore.
No, we're not going to talk about politics at all on this show. What I will ask you, though, is how long have you been doing comedy?
3 years in January, so 3 years because anything after January doesn't count now.
That's interesting. Okay, so now there's more questions because I've been watching you. You were going to be on a show of mine, unfortunately, that got postponed or canceled.
Yeah, it was
And
cancelled because of load
yeah, because
shedding.
of load shedding. And I did my research about it because before then you and I had never met or communicated.
Mm.
So I did a bit of research. I saw you, and it looked like you've traveled the world. Am I mistaken?
I would like to think so. The Western world, so yes, the real world to me. No, I'm kidding. I'm actually bleak. We're supposed to go to Thailand. Okay, that doesn't make me sound less white. That seems to have been cancelled. Yeah, so I've done New York, LA, Tennessee, and London and Oxford
Wow. Okay.
in terms of comedy.
Yeah. Which I mean, New York. That must have been a trip.
That was amazing. So that started because I was an au pair in New York. I was like, I don't know, it was just something in me that I always just wanted to go travel and I wanted to
Mm.
get out. So when I finished varsity, I was like, I need to do something. And that something was get a job and get money. And then I was like, I want, no, there's all these student programs, whatever. So I signed up to be a nanny on the other side of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And then while I was there, I just had this thing, like I'd been introduced to comedy in South Africa, and I was like, I could never do this, no ways. But then when I was there, I was like, look, you're in the city of stand-up comedy of the world.
Mm.
Like, if you're gonna try it, do it here. Go to an open mic one day, and if it's shit, nobody cares. So I did it. And I'm sure, like, you do it once and it like bites you and you just don't stop.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Unless you're really bad, then you really should stop. But that's for me to say. That's for you to discover for yourself.
I love your honesty. Bong says,
Not
"Yo,
everyone does. Shocker.
yo, what's up, Joe? Thanks, Bong, so much for tuning in. Titi is laughing, saying true story, and saying wow to what you've said now about the traveling and the au pairing and all that. Okay, cool. So you've kind of answered a question I wanted to ask you, which is how you got started. But I want you to go into a little bit more detail about the first time you were ever on stage.
Okay. Oh, the first time. Can I want to go back first.
Yeah, go ahead.
And then so the first time I ever found comedy in South Africa was the Grahamstown Festival. Like I said, I went to Rhodes and I met like I don't know if you know the Yomasa comedy, the late night show that was happening.
Yeah.
And I met all those people, Dalen and Stuart and Angel. And like, I think I always feel the need to shout out Angel because she, like when I met her, the first time I met her, I was like, oh my word, you're my hero. And like 4 or 5 years later, I went, okay, I'm gonna try and be someone else's hero. I don't know. Yeah. So then I met comedians in South Africa, and then met a bunch of the Joburg people. Obviously, once I was back here, and then yeah, the first time I did stand up in New York was the first time I did. The first time I did stand-up, oh my word, it wasn't in New York. It was before I went to New York. I kind of don't count it though because I didn't do it again for like a year or months.
Tell us about it. Do you remember what happened?
No, I remember clearly. Who doesn't? That kind of trauma stays with you. So the first time I did stand-up, I had been around comedy a lot in Joburg, and I had met Kitty Bonnet. Well, I met a bunch of people, but Kitty Bonnet and I were chatting the one night, and he was like, "You're so funny, you should do it." And I was like, "Well, I've been writing down ideas, but I don't think I ever will. But I'll write for someone else." And he was like, "No, you have to do it. Totally Coyote Ugly vibe. Like, you have to do it yourself before you can, except we weren't naked in a room. That's weird. Why did I say that? But anyway, I don't know how familiar you are with the plot of Coyote Ugly. Anyway, I did do doggy style though on stage. Awkward.
All right.
It was a yoga pose.
I know what
Stupid joke about a yoga pose.
happened.
Um, and so Kitty tweeted that I was going to go to his show. Um, and I was like, well, the tweet got 2 likes, so I have to show up now for all the fans.
2 likes.
Yes, I went, and Trevor Gumby was the host. That was really cool. And yeah, I did a joke about doggy style and had no idea what I was doing. And I did maybe like a minute and a half, and then I got off. And that was the first time I ever did comedy. And then I never did it again until I want to say 8 months later when I was in New York.
Okay.
And then that's when I say I officially started, because from then I never stopped. I just kept going.
Well, how was okay, wait, I gotta address this comment here. RJS says love the hair.
Thank you. I'm really warming up to it. I really like it. Thank you. Thank you. It was a little bit of a meltdown that I'm claiming as a rash decision now.
Yeah, so is this.
Good.
Thank you. So your first time in New York. Now that must have been interesting because I'm guessing have you lived your whole life in South Africa?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now you throw yourself basically in the deep
Except
end.
for like TV.
Oh yeah, that's true. And then you throw yourself into New York and all that stuff, and then how was that? Like going into another country and then performing stand up. Did you feel that you were a bit more confident, maybe? Because
Oh, I was so confident because, well, first of all, like any good story, it starts with the end of a toxic relationship. Um,
that's true.
and yeah, I just noticed I was writing it, like I was thinking of things and I was writing it down or typing it in my phone. Like I would cross the street and I'd be like people don't take the risk of crossing the street when it says don't cross the street. I think this was one of the first things I wrote was like don't cross the street, and then I was like, but I can see there's no cars coming, so I'll go anyway. Point is, it was, I think, freeing because my perspective was different, and I really, really did not care what anyone thought because I really didn't think it would be something I really wanted. It was literally my friend and I had a massive fight New Year's Eve, or after New Year, I guess. And I stormed off at like 3 a.m. New Year's Day 2017 because all I wanted to do was go to the ball drop and nobody else wanted to go. And then she was trying to get me to go to a guy's house that she wanted to stay with, although she's just rekindled with her boyfriend in South Africa. It was a whole mess, and I was like, I don't think this is a good idea. And she was like, you judgmental bitch. And I was like, well, fuck you. I'm trying to be a good friend. I'm going to do what I want to do. And then I screamed at her in Artichoke Pizza. I'll never forget. Artichoke Pizza, 3 a.m., New Year's Day, 2017. I'm screaming at her like, you fucking asshole. I don't know if I can swear on your thing, but I am.
It's not censored. You can do whatever.
And then because we had gone out with a bunch of other people that I met that night, so I was like, fuck you. Happy New Year, guys. So great to meet you. Have a blessed year ahead. And then I walked straight like 30 blocks to Times Square, and it was empty. I mean, everything was clearing up. There was nobody. And I stood in Times Square and I looked at the new number. It was now 2017. It wasn't 2016 anymore. And I said, you're going to do something for you this year, Robyn. And 2 weeks later, because, I was working, 2 weeks later, I got on stage. Greenwich Village Comedy Club, 5 p.m. on Sunday.
Nice.
With a sofa, $3.
And and how was that, like getting onto that stage and then performing in front of a different culture? How was it? How did that one go?
Well, it was cool. It was really cool. So actually, I wanted to go to New York Comedy Club because New York Comedy Club if I'm
Yeah.
going to do it once. And then I phoned them like a nerd. And I was like, do you guys have an open mic on Sunday? And they're like, yeah, come through like an hour before. And I get there and they were like, oh, it's cancelled.
Mm.
And then I was like, I will not let this deter me. My first overcoming of a struggle, Joe, was they're closed. Oh, well, let's go home. So Greenwich Village, it was really weird because you don't know anyone and they all kind of know each other because as you sort of go on, like even here, you know, you go to the same shows, the same people are there constantly. You know, the same people are working material on the same things. So it's kind of, so they all kind of knew each other and I was the new person. I mean, the host didn't even know my name. Like I said, she was like, what's your name? I was like, Robyn Dunlop. And she was like, how do you spell that? And I was like, Dunlop like the tire. And she looked at me. She was like, this is New York. No one has cars. And I'll never forget, that's the first thing one of my dearest friends, Ricky Sofa, said to me was, we don't have cars here. And she spelt it wrong and said it wrong. Now she does still, but I think that's on purpose.
Oh,
Yeah. But being like somebody different as well, I think was really cool. You know, that's definitely a wave I rode for a while was like I would come on and just say something random and then I'd be like, oh, I'm from Africa. And then everyone's like, no. And then like that was a fun foot to start on for me
Yeah.
for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, it still is. Every time I go there, I'm like, I'm African. And they're like, what? Really fun for me.
Man, that's actually a really cool story. All right, so you did the open mic thing in New York. How long were you in New York for?
So I was there so I was there in total 9 months, but after I started stand up about 6 months.
Okay, and have you been there again since?
Yes, twice.
Awesome. And how did those times go?
The second time was really cool, except it was like a year and a half later, so everyone was like, "Oh, you're back! I thought you just quit." Like, no, I just was removed from the continent, but thanks. So that was really cool. And then, yeah, the most recent time was, I think, even a step better because I got passed at a new club and I stayed longer and I like rented my own apartment, so it was like really cool. Yeah, so it was I mean, every time it's better and better and you meet new people and you rekindle old relationships and it's just really fun, yeah.
That
I mean, if anyone ever comes to you and says comedy in New York is shit, they're the problem.
nice one. Do you prefer I don't know if you're going to answer this and you're free not to, but do you prefer South African audiences or American audiences?
It's pause. No, I'm kidding. No, honestly, I love South African audiences because they want to laugh and they want to be there and they're excited, you know, and even if they don't understand what's going on, they want to be involved, you know, and maybe we heckle too much, but that's because we want to be involved. Where especially a place like New York, they're overcrowded with entertainment, you know, they could spend their night doing anything, you know. So they kind of walk into a comedy club and like, okay, make me laugh. We're not here to have a good time. We're here for you to make us have a good time.
Yes.
But then like I said, I went to Tennessee and I went to like a smaller town with gigs and they were also like, we want to laugh. Let's have a good time, you know. So they were trying to be on board with everything.
Yeah.
So you find that like the tourists in New York are way more fun.
Yes.
But I think the best gigs I have had are in South Africa, definitely.
That's awesome. I think also like to your point of like audiences being like, hey, entertain me. I think the same thing happens, and I know some comics are going to disagree with me on this, and the man who owns this club might also disagree with me, but I'm going to say it either way. Cape Town Comedy Club. I think the audiences there also sometimes, not all the time, are also like because it is what it is. It's a comedy club, So people go there.
It's a big club, and a lot of foreigners go there, and you pay money.
Yes. So it's
So
like
people
make
are
me
like,
laugh.
investing in this, better be worth it. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, I get.
Which is not a bad thing. I mean, it, because
Yeah.
yes, some people might be like, "Oh, make me laugh," but that's I don't feel like that's well, Cape Town Comedy Club. I don't feel that that is the majority of them. I think on one or two nights, yes, you might get
Yeah.
unlucky with a majority of them being like that. But most of the time, people just want to have a good time. They want to laugh. They know it as the only hotspot of comedy in
Mm.
Cape Town, where the best of the best go there, and people are always like really cool and want to take pictures after the show, and it's a cool
Yeah.
vibe. Um,
Look, it's a really fun club as well, but I do understand because of the international audience, and they're coming to comedy because they do it in other countries, and they figured out that this is how you meet the local population.
yes,
Because if you want to know anything about a town, honestly, I'll say go to a comedy club because the comedians will tell you, and the visiting comedians will tell you because that's what they're figuring out. So
it's actually a good point. I
totally
never thought
understand.
of it. Yeah, I never
Yeah,
thought of it that way. That's actually a very, very, very good point. I'm gonna do that next time. I'm just gonna go.
yeah.
I'm just gonna
But
go.
also, I don't know about you, but like you've said, I've traveled quite a bit, but I travel alone because I trust no one and I wait for no one.
Yes.
Girl power. Hopefully, I don't get killed. No, but I feel so at home at a comedy club. It's the first place I go just because comedians understand
Yes.
you, even if they don't know who you are.
Yes.
So personally, it's just the best thing to do
Yeah, I
for
was
me.
going to perform in Texas a few years back. I was planning on going, and I found that I just Googled like or I Facebooked like comedy group Texas. That's what I
Yeah.
Facebook, and like, a few came up, and then I was like, cool, Austin. I'm gonna be close to Houston, so I'll go there rather. Joined the group. I literally said, hey guys, I am a comedian in Cape Town, South Africa. Might be coming to Texas in a few months' time. Would you get? Can I get some open spots? Can I get some time, stage time, whatever? And I was pleasantly surprised to see a lot of them like, yeah, here's my number. Add me on
That's
Facebook. We'll
very cool.
DM. Like, yeah, cool, man. Come to this one and this one. I actually ended up getting at least like 5 gigs in a week. Um, Obviously, there was still that whole like you got to do 5 minutes because, I get that.
It's free or whatever. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but still, it was cool. I just
But
wanted.
that's how you do it. I mean, that's what I did for London. Okay, London's also a different like kettle of fish because London. Um, but but you just have to get one gig and show that you can do it, and then somebody there will be like, "Dude, I have this gig. Come to that."
Yes, yes, and it's the same
But
in.
like Texas is like friendlier people, I guess, and more open to that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that's just how it runs everywhere because I've seen that happen in South Africa as well, where we see someone that is from out of town,
Yeah.
and they come in, they do 5 minutes. Like I've seen it, and I've been the one comic to go like, "Dude, you're funny. Come onto
Yeah,
my show. It's in 2 weeks or whatever."
exactly.
Um,
So,
I I just want
and now
to.
you've made a new friend because they want to know you because you took the time to know them, and it's then hopefully you go to their town and they help you.
Exactly.
Hopefully, not always the case, but hopefully.
Nabila says American audiences must be hard to please. We have Julian who's joined us and says ahoy. Hey Julian, thanks for tuning in, buddy. And we have Nabila who's saying, please don't become a drug trafficker because you're alone. Maybe. That's a very
That's
nervous
right.
laugh.
I know. I'm like, maybe this could work for me.
Okay, we
No,
got.
seriously, I'm so paranoid when it comes to travel. I mean, yeah, I don't even talk to people in the airport. Except unless it's like TSA, obviously.
Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out this question
Yeah.
because they said question for Robin from Titi. When did you into comedy? Not sure if this was asked earlier. When did you?
Oh, when
That's
did I get into it? I would say Grahamstown Festival
hmm,
was when I got into it. Although, come to think of it,
yeah.
I
Getting
watched
yeah,
Michael McIntyre long before that.
yeah.
And I loved him. I don't know if that's the question, but that's how I'm interpreting it, is that's when I got into it.
Yeah, that is. She
Um,
corrected herself as get into it.
yeah.
So
But when I started doing it, obviously, was a completely different
yeah.
version of getting into it.
Same here. I mean, I got into it from a friend of mine when I was 13 years old or 14. I can't remember. And he was listening to Dave Chappelle, and he was like with earphones, and he was like, and then I was like, "What are you listening to?" I listened to it. I'm like, "What is this?" He's like, "This is stand-up comedy," and then, boom, that's how I got into it. Started it
Yeah.
way later.
Yeah.
uh,
Don't you wish that, like, I wish my comedy story was cooler? Like, yours is so cool. It's like my friend was listening to Dave, or like, I read Charlie Murphy was like, we used to, like, Charlie Murphy, Eddie Murphy's brother, and they were like, we used to listen to Richard Pryor's album. And I'm like, that's so cool. I'm like, Michael McIntyre. Like,
there's nothing wrong, but
woohoo!
no, but there's nothing wrong with Michael McIntyre. Damn.
I know, I absolutely love him.
Yeah,
But
so
it's
do
just
I.
like, it's not gangster. It's not cool.
I don't know. I think most comedians have been inspired by other comedians, and that that is something that is cool in itself. I'm just trying to
I know
understand.
people always ask these questions, but who would you say is your first inspiration?
To do stand up.
Mm.
See, that's see. How do you answer that one? Because okay, so the guy that got me into it was
Well, the
Dave.
tables have turned. You were not prepared.
The guy I was it Dave? Could it be Dave still? Maybe because Dave started a rabbit hole, so to speak, that I went into. So it
Mm.
started with Dave, and then I just started listening to like uh, Dennis Leary, Jim Carrey, Drew Carey, what's his name, Jamie Foxx, Chris Rock, like all
Yeah.
the greats from way back when. And I went back. I went back. I was listening to like '80s comedy. I was listening to Richard Pryor. I was listening to. I just became this huge sponge of stand-up comedy,
Yeah.
and I really liked. And I think this might answer the question. I really, for a few years, I don't like him too much anymore, but for a few years, his early, I
Yeah.
would say his beginning, the beginning of his career, I really, really, really enjoyed Dane Cook. And I know he's not,
Dane Cook.
yeah, I know he's not a
Interesting.
favorite for some people.
I loved his movies, honestly, but I haven't sat through a special yet.
Yeah. Why? Why?
I guess, haven't been inspired to. I don't know.
Oh,
Because, like, when I watched his movies, I didn't really understand what comedy was, you know?
mm, okay.
I don't know how to explain it, but like I watched Michael McIntyre, but I didn't know what he was doing.
Oh,
You
okay.
know,
Yeah.
like you said, like I watched so my brother was really into comedy and he introduced me to Michael McIntyre and John Bishop and Eddie Izzard and loved those guys. No idea what they were doing, you know.
That's true.
Like when I started in New York, like I said, I started there and somebody was like, "Oh yeah, Dave Chappelle's popping in the cellar tonight. Don't you want to go?" And I'm like, "I don't know who that is."
Mm.
They were like, "You don't know Dave Chappelle?" And who's the molester guy? Louis C.K. He never touched anyone. I'm sorry. I falsely accused him. He never touched anyone. But they were like, and Louis C.K. He's amazing. I didn't know who this was. And then a year later, it came out that he did all the things. And then I was like, well, who cares? But
Yeah.
like, I knew Chris Rock, obviously, but again, from movies, probably,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, check out Dane Cook because I think when I watch myself now, when I always watch myself because I record myself to maybe edit a joke or
You
whatever.
have to.
Yeah,
Really thinks yourself involved. You watch your sets
yeah.
for the craft.
And I I feel like there's a hint of him in the
Yeah.
way I deliver, in the way I perform.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's
When
influenced it.
sometimes you write something and you hear someone else saying it, but you're saying it.
Yeah.
It's so interesting.
So it's I've noticed that like there's a bit of Dane Cook slash Robin Williams, very little Robin Williams though, like very very little.
His vocals do you feel like are bleeding in.
Yeah,
Very.
but it's mainly Dane Cook, and I would say maybe forgetting his name now, Eddie Murphy. the attitude,
Oh,
almost the attitude,
that
because Eddie
too.
Murphy has a bit of an attitude. Like he
Yeah.
says what he wants to say, and then you know, tough shit.
Mm,
Whereas Dane Cook's very
that's good.
theatrical storyteller. So I'm a lot of Dane Cook. I would say I'm like 70-60% Dane Cook, and then a touch of everything else.
Yeah.
So
Do you find, I find that like when you're doing comedy with the same kind of people around you all the time, you almost edge on what they do and then you come back, like local people. Do you ever have that?
you know what? I've performed with a lot of flippin' comedians. There are some comedians that I have always worked with. It just happens.
Mm,
And I can honestly say no, that has never happened to me.
really?
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. I think
Interesting.
I don't know. I think
Yeah.
it's because I do it so much. I'm around these guys all the time. I don't absorb their style. I might absorb their energy, that's for sure, but
Maybe.
not their style. But yeah,
Interesting.
I just want to quickly touch on the comments again.
Yeah.
Julian says, "Keep up the good work, Joe. Big admirer of your grind, man. Funny dude. Thank you, Julian. That was really sweet of you." And then we have everybody. Tracy Lee Wagner has joined in. She says, "Hi, Robin, and hi, Joe. Hello, Tracy. Thank you for tuning in."
Hi.
Rochelle saying hi as well. Wow, we have all the
Hey, Rochelle.
lockdown.
Rochelle tuned into probably the worst show I've ever done online. You are a real trooper, Michelle. You are Rochelle. Sorry. You were so um, appreciated. Oh my word, my brain just went blank. It was like I want to say nice things. I can't remember the word.
And then we have McClary ZA Ahoy peeps. Hello, McClary. Thank you for tuning in. Tell.
Sorry.
Oh
He was
wait.
also in
Yeah,
that awful
he
show.
yeah, he says,
I recommend.
tell Joe about the awesome heckling show the other night, Robs. Is that what he's is that what
That's what he's talking about, right? Um, I don't think the guy's watching this, but so I met this guy when I was in London, and at his show. So another guy. So like I said, you go to a show, and then a guy will be like, "Oh, I have this show that's coming up, so come to this one and whatever." So I ended up at the show on a Sunday night, and uh, the everyone was awful. Everyone was so awful anyway. But you know, we're all learning, and it's the craft, right? Um, anyway, so then the one guy was like, I can't remember why I was chatting to him later, but I know he was talking to me because I'm pretty, and I was talking to him because I guess I had nothing better to do. I don't know. Anyway, so then he was telling me he's doing this roast battle and he's writing jokes. Oh, it was at the end of the gig, like there were like six comedians all chatting, and two of them were doing this roast and they were going through their jokes. And I was just like, no, you got to do this or do that or whatever because I'm so good at writing other people's jokes, right? Like you can analyze other people's jokes and go, what if you say this, but yours? Anyway.
That's true.
Anyway, so then I met up with this guy at Starbucks to go through some of the jokes, whatever. And then I saw him now, like last week, go, oh, I'm doing this online gig if anyone's keen. So I was like, cool. And then I told McLary, because I met McLary online through Laughter on Lockdown, right? And he's in London, so I was like, come through to this London gig. You can meet other London people. And it was awful, awful. So the concept is heckling, right? So then you have two hecklers or three hecklers, and then a host, and then the acts. But then the hecklers can say whatever the hell they want while you're talking. So nobody could even finish a joke because somebody will just feel the need to say something. And it was quite nightmarish.
So the hecklers are like on screen, like in a
They're
call.
on screen. So it's like a Zoom meeting,
Uh-huh.
and then there's three hecklers, and their job is to heckle. And there's this one guy who can't have any friends because he just constantly felt the need. He constantly felt the need to comment on everything, and then comedians will fire back like, "What is wrong with you? You know, just let me get through the joke and then have something to say." Anyway, he was exhausting. I feel like I shut him down really well. Rochelle, comment now. Thanks. What a disaster. But it really built up the chest hair, not gonna lie.
Well, Rochelle actually says, Robyn simply said, I had some jokes, but that will be a waste now.
I did say that, and people laughed.
They're laughing now.
Yeah. No,
Who's
because they could get through a joke. So I was like, I'm not going to put my baby out there just so you can smash its face. Like, let me.
who's Lyle Garou?
Lyle Garou.
Yeah, maybe I'm
I
pronouncing
don't
it
know.
wrong. I don't know.
Hi,
No,
Lyle.
Like Rochelle says, Lyle Garou.
Oh, the guy's name was Garou.
Oh, okay.
So maybe it's like Garou.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the aforementioned man with no friends.
Right. Well, I see we're halfway through the show, so we're going to play that game that I love to play with all my guests, the
Excited for the game.
interrogation game. So,
Have
all
a
of you that are watching, please, this is the part where you guys get to get really involved. We're going to play, some of you may already know the game, but I'm going to just explain it very quickly so that everybody is all on board. So, basically, what's going to happen is I and Robyn have prepared 3 statements about ourselves. 2 are factual, and 1 is false.
You said factual, like,
Yeah.
let's see. How true are they really?
And sorry. Okay, Chris, I'm gonna get to that comment later. I'll get
What
to
did he
that
say?
comment later. He's roasting me, and he's a guy in the U.S. He's actually he used to be in the United States Army.
Oh, is Chris single?
Chris is how old are you, Chris? Just I mean,
Is he less than 80?
yeah, he's less than 80, I think. If he's less than 80, if he is above 80, he looks damn good for his age. Like like really good.
US is the home of Botox.
All right, so back to the game. So, 3 statements about each of us. I'm going to interrogate Robyn and find out which one statement is false. Why am I screwing this up? And by asking her questions, I have 2.5 minutes to ask her questions. Now,
Okay.
she will also get a chance to interrogate me. And also, you guys get to start guessing what you think the lie could be. You can help me and you can help her, but I have a feeling that the audience that we have here is going to be biased. So, because they like you. I mean, this is your crowd. They're not going to help me. Okay, so Chris says he's 55.
He's 55. Does he have children?
Chris, do you have children? And we'll get back to that later.
This is better than Tinder, okay? Because he's already here, that means he thinks I'm funny, right? That's good. I carry on.
Okay, we'll get back to you, Chris, in just a moment. All right, so
I'm on my ex, so it's awkward, but sure.
all right, so Robyn's statements are as follows. I once took an impromptu road trip during matric exams to see a boy. Okay. That sounds like something you would do. I got engaged on Facebook Messenger. That also sounds like something you would do. My comedy hero felt me up because... Let me just remove this. Felt me up because of my velvet shirt. Okay. We'll get into that. Here we go. My 2.5 minutes to interrogate you begins now.
Okay.
All right. So, first question. Comedy hero. Who's he?
Yes. Michael Che.
Michael Che. Okay. So, your comedy hero, Michael Che, felt you up because of your velvet shirt. Now.
Indeed, he did.
Okay. Where was this? When was this?
This was in the Comedy Cellar at the Christmas party.
At the Christmas party. Okay. Why velvet shirt? Like, what was so special about this velvet? Why was that the reason?
It's just It feels good. Have you felt velvet?
Mm.
And have you seen me in velvet? I'd want to touch it.
All right. Moving on. Uh,
It's just a great shirt, okay? And it feels like, well, it looks like feel me.
Okay, number two, engaged on Facebook Messenger. Are you engaged?
I don't have to currently be engaged for it to be true.
Engagement's quite a well. Okay, yeah, that's true. I mean, you may.
You don't have to get married if you're engaged, you know. Sometimes shit happens, you know.
Yeah, I get you. Okay, how did that happen? Like, was it? Did he send like a emoji rose and then pop the question, or was it just like, "Will you marry
So
me?"
it was this guy I know from New York, a comic. I know we got along really well when I was there, and then when I came back here, he was like, "Well, come back and we can be together." And yeah, then
Okay,
things happen. But yeah.
okay, I have 55 seconds. Impromptu road trip during matric exams to see a boy. You see, like that doesn't seem like a big deal. I mean, impromptu road trip. Okay, so how far was the road trip? Like, how long was the road trip? Where did you go?
The road trip was 11 hours.
11 hours for a boy.
I didn't
Damn,
know how far Grahamstown was, okay?
damn. Okay, okay, so this was when you were what age?
I was 18. I was doing
18. Sorry,
matric
yeah, matric.
uh, license.
How?
And I had like a 4 day gap in exams, and the boy I liked wanted to see me, so I got in my car and drove to him.
And your parents didn't say anything.
Oh, they had a lot to say.
Okay. Flip. I got 6 seconds. Okay, so I'm gonna look at the comments very quickly. We've got here. They're helping me. McClary says three is false. Nabila says three is false.
Three.
Um,
That's number three because I sent them the other way to you. So three is the
the comedy hero, that felt you up.
oh, the
Don't,
comedy.
don't. I'm just letting you know what they said. Don't give me the answer just yet. Titsy says one sounds very true, two, not sure, but possible, and three, lies. I think. Okay, so man, so everyone's going with three. Then I'm gonna go with three too. I'm gonna go with my audience, and I'm gonna say three. The comedy hero that felt you up. That is a lie.
Michael Che, in fact, touched my velvet shirt at the Christmas party at the Comedy Cellar.
No. So which one
It
was?
is my favorite memory in the world.
Okay, so
Yeah.
which one is the lie?
The engaged, I did not say yes.
Um,
Smart. Smart to
okay.
ask if I am engaged. Yeah, I didn't say yes. It was just a friend of mine who was like, come back, I'll take one for the team. And I did not say yes, so technically not engaged.
And
Okay.
the impromptu road trip. Where did you go?
I went to Grahamstown. The boy
Oh,
I
okay.
liked, yeah, he had a knee operation, and I drove 11 hours. And only last year did I click, fuck, he lied about that too. I dated a pathological liar for 3 years, but I
Oh wow.
believed everything he said. Um,
Okay.
up until after we broke up, I was like, he never went to Kilimanjaro, did he?
Probably
Yeah,
not.
there were a lot of lies coming from that one. Yeah.
Okay, so I want to get back to Chris just very quickly because the man's
Tell me
waiting.
more.
I don't even know if he's still watching. Chris, if you're watching, let me know. But he said, AKA as the devastatingly handsome white man in much of Africa. Okay, don't know what that was about. And he said, I tripped into the stream. So I think he's trying to say that he's a handsome, dashingly handsome man. Yeah. So there you go. You guys can.
I asked, does he have kids? That doesn't answer my question. I am not ready to be a stepmom.
Okay, cool. So my turn. Well,
Okay, your turn for
like
your thing.
you gotta interrogate me now.
Yeah.
Cool. So I nearly got arrested in Egypt for public affection.
Okay.
That's the first statement. I nearly got arrested in
Mm-hmm.
Egypt for public affection. Okay. Now,
Public fiction. Okay.
number 2. I used to be sponsored by a skateboard company. I used to be sponsored by a
I a skateboard.
skateboard company. And number 3, I have never headlined at Cape Town Comedy Club.
You have never. Okay.
Headlined at Cape Town Comedy Club. All right. And once you have everything, I'll start the time.
Mm-hmm.
And your 2.5 minutes starts now.
Okay. Well, I don't want to sound like a dick, but I don't think you have headlined Cape Town Comedy Club. So that was true.
Wow. Okay.
No, I just,
You
I
don't know.
haven't either.
don't know.
That doesn't matter. But
You don't
okay.
know. You don't know.
I don't know. I don't know, but I think I do. Des is quite the ball buster. Okay, so nearly arrested in Egypt for public affection.
Mhm.
Who were you publicly affecting?
My girlfriend at the time.
Girlfriend at the time.
Yeah.
What's her name, address, ID number?
Okay. I cannot remember the address, but I know she lived in Zamalek. It was a city called Zamalek, and I remember her name was Donna, if I'm not mistaken. And she was.
Okay.
We were young, and
This is the trash they speak of, ladies. Kidding.
okay.
Kidding.
You have 1 minute and 20 seconds.
I'm trying to get onto YouTube to see the comments. I don't know. Is it illegal to publicly affect someone?
Sort of. It's very frowned upon.
It's very frowned upon. Okay, was she Muslim perchance?
Was she what?
Muslim.
Oh, no, she wasn't. But still, even you're not really allowed to show any public displays of affection.
Any affection, no matter what. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and the skateboard brand, what was it called?
Skate Impact, 40 seconds.
Skate Impact. And is this a real brand?
Yeah, it's a real brand. I don't know if it still exists, but it existed at the time.
Okay. Why can't I see any comments? Okay, what are people saying? Can you tell me that?
Let's see. Are you done asking questions?
No, am I? Okay, how much time do I have?
14 seconds.
14 seconds. Okay, so Donna, and it's frowned upon. Frowned upon, I believe that, I feel like Egypt takes a skateboard brand. Can you skateboard?
Yes, I skateboard.
What's your favorite skate trick?
Skate trick, 360. The 360 flip.
360. Okay, I was expecting you to be like Ollie because that's basic. Not to do, but like for someone to say.
You asked me what my favorite flip trick is. It's a 360.
Okay. What are the comments on the thing? I'm done asking questions.
All right, the comments. Wow. Okay, people really went to town with this. I'm seeing 2 is a lie. Mr. Fasan, thank you for tuning in, buddy. Says 2 is a lie. Then we have Jason Maitland who says, "Hey, Jason, thank you for tuning in, buddy." 2 is false. They also think that's a 2. Julian says 2. Wow, everybody's kind of. Titsy says.
Not believing that you could get sponsored by a skate brand.
I can never know with Joe. I'll go with 2. That's what Titsy says. Mr. Fasan, stop changing. Rochelle says 1. She feels it's 1. And everyone's still going with 2. And Oba King's being different. He's like, oh no, he's not being different. He's saying 3 is most definitely true. So he agrees with you on that. I never headlined.
On 3, he's like, number 3 is true. Oh no. See, comics are assholes. Audience is like, okay, we'll just ignore. We'll look at the
Titsy,
comics
no,
are
man.
like, he didn't headline Cape Town. That's bullshit.
Oh yeah, well check out what Titsy said now, which is so not cool. Mexicans don't skate. This is not the roast, by the way. I'm just saying.
I don't even understand that roast. Mexicans don't skate.
Maybe she's trying to say that
Okay,
we
I
don't
mean,
have
you
talent.
don't have time for fun. I get maybe, I don't know. I'm
um,
trying very hard to not tread on the
sorry.
Mexicans while being an African in America.
Mr. Fasan thinks that one is true. So that's a bit of a.
Okay. I think that number two is false. I think that it's very possible to nearly get arrested while touching another person in public. I don't know. I didn't ask you. So I realized after the fact that I didn't ask you how did you get out of being arrested and what was it that
Yeah,
happened.
it's too late
Um,
now. You gotta
it's too
guess.
late. So I'm still gonna ask you that later. But yes, so I think that you did nearly get arrested. You haven't headlined Cape Town Comedy Club.
Woo, I feel the sting.
And I don't think you were sponsored by a skateboard company. Basically, I think that you're a loser. I don't know what to say.
Okay, here it is. Drum roll. I actually have a drum roll sound effect. Number three is the lie. No, I'm kidding. I number one. Number one is the lie.
You didn't get. Oh, well, look at me believing that you could get a girl and then touch her in places that you shouldn't. And I mean publicly, not.
I let me explain. In Egypt, it is frowned upon to display public affection.
Mm.
It's very frowned upon, and you can get in trouble. I just never did. So there you go. I was sponsored by a skateboard company. Uh, I I was. You know what? I have. It's on my Instagram. I can't use my phone right now. It's on my Instagram where I showed pictures of me skateboarding, and I will
Oh,
go. I will.
see, there you go.
Yeah, I am going to go and find those pictures again, and I'm going to repost them because I'm highly
Yeah.
offended.
You can't let people forget. Do you know what I did? I never posted that I was selected for the South African hip hop team. Nobody believes I can dance. Never let them forget, Joe.
Yeah, exactly. And now, and also, I want to say something. I just want to say something as screw you for not believing that I didn't headline Cape Town Comedy Club. Do you have no faith in my comedy at all? That
We
there's
believe
even a
in
bit
you
of a
didn't
possibility that I
headline.
could have done
That's
it. Sorry, that whatever.
no. It honestly it is believable. It's just also not because it's a tough club to get into, and it's
Yeah,
like it's really cool, and it's just not our time yet. But we'll get there
we will get there.
if they open up again. We'll get there.
Let's see here.
And we love Des so much.
We
We
do.
love Desiree. You're our favorite.
I miss Des, to be honest. I really do. I need to
I always
actually
used to make sure we're going to
say
visit.
hi to her. Number one, false. I think Rochelle got it right. Well done, Rochelle. Um, but
One person said
she's
the
got
false
an
and false.
advantage because she knows like the Muslim culture. So yeah. Wait, was it? Did she get it
Kind
right?
of did. I
Yeah, she did.
believe that that's frowned upon. And I knew there were Muslims in Egypt. You didn't say that.
I didn't have to, but you could have asked.
I didn't ask because I already knew.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what I'm winning with this argument. Basically, I'm like, I'm culturally diverse. I understand things.
Okay, so we both tied. I think yes,
Okay.
we both tied
Yeah.
because I was wrong,
By
you were wrong.
time it means we both got it wrong.
Yeah, which is fine. But we also got to know each other better in the process. And then I saw an interesting comment here from Nelson de Gavea. Buddy, thank you so much for tuning in, fellow comedian.
Cool.
I've known him for years and I still don't believe he touches any girl. That's just mean.
I take back my previous comment.
And Mario says, hello, Mario Campbell, Robyn, my sister, I'm
Hey,
sorry.
Mark.
And yeah, so, all right, so we're almost at the end of the show already.
Wow, that was so quick.
It is very quick.
Time
So,
goes so fast when you talk about yourself for an hour.
but I hope you'll indulge me in this one last question that I love to ask every performer. Uh, Tell us, if you have one, and usually performers do, uh, the most embarrassing gig you've ever done. Whatever that means to you, whatever gig you felt just embarrassed for whatever reason, take it away.
Hmm. That's a embarrassing gig. I don't know. Like I say this quite often to people is if a gig is either it goes well or you learn from it. So I wouldn't call any of them embarrassing. Can I say I don't have? I mean, when I was in grade 7 and I did a talent show, my pants fell down, but that was and I knew they would fall down, so I had pants underneath the pants that fell down.
Okay.
So that's that's my embarrassing gig. And the first one, I guess the first one's the most embarrassing because you never know what to expect. And I got really drunk before because I was so scared.
Oh
Um,
wow. Okay.
yeah,
All right. Well, yeah. If it's the first one, then it's the first one, and usually is like I've heard a lot of stories. Like today, Long John told me a very nice. Well,
mm,
I say nice, but it wasn't
nice.
nice. But it was a very fun story about a corporate gig that he did.
Oh yeah,
He basically he basically um, he was asked to do comedy for like I think 30 minutes or something, but he wasn't
yeah.
told about a very important reason why the event was happening. And the event was happening because they were firing the staff, and they fired the staff before they brought him on, and they thought that the comedy could ease the pain.
Would lighten the blow.
Yeah,
Oh my
you
god.
must go and check out the story. It's hilarious. It's hilarious.
That is disgusting. Also, well done on using our time to prompt other time. He's
I'm just
punting
saying.
other people's shows. This is
Well, it's my show.
I know it's your show. No, that's hysterical. Yeah, I've got that my pants went down, that's it. And yours, what's yours?
Oh, mine. I explained this the other night, but I'll say it again. Just before the lockdown happened, my last it wasn't my last corporate gig, but
Mm,
a corporate gig that I did towards the end of last year. Man, again, I was telling Harold this. I I take responsibility for the way this gig went because I should have known to put my foot down with my client and say, look, there are certain things that can't work for comedy. For example, the client wanted me to perform stand up after a singer, and then I have a 30-minute bit, a break because they're gonna have dinner, and then the singer again, and then me again for another 30 minutes. So
mm,
I should have known as a performer that's
no.
not gonna work. That I need to do my 1 hour one time, and
Yeah.
the singer needs to go after me, not before me. And yeah, so I got cocky. I'm not gonna lie, I got cocky because I had been gigging and I'd been going on the scene. I've been doing well, and I'm like, okay, cool, my jokes are ready for this gig, and nothing can stop me now. And then, yeah, um, it was a shit show. It was a 34-year reunion, not 40-year, not 50-year, not 30-year, 40, 34-year, 34-year reunion, which is a weird number. And nobody gave two shits about me at all. So
Oh,
I ended up performing for the guy that booked me. He had a table, and I just ended up performing for him. But the most embarrassing part, see, even despite all that, despite people not listening to me, despite me standing in a very on the dance floor, so everyone's far from me,
yeah.
and I can't get that connection. I have to walk around and stuff like that. I tried. I pushed through, and the first half was terrible. Second half, he. This is like very embarrassing. The organizer comes
Yeah.
to where I'm trying to get everyone to listen. Grabs the microphone and starts like puts his arm around me, and he's like, guys, hey, give the man a chance. It's like that is the most demeaning thing.
Wow,
So
that's a tough one.
yeah, it
That's
was
the last gig you did before lockdown.
no, that was not the last corporate gig. I misspoke there. It was just a gig. The last. I don't know why I said last. But yeah, it was a gig.
Because it still sits with you because you've been sitting through lockdown going, when can I redeem myself from this?
Pretty much, yeah.
When are we free so I can make up for this night?
So yeah, that was something I had to learn, and I don't blame the client at all. It was my responsibility to make sure that that things were set in place, and I
Yeah.
set myself up for failure. So you learn, like you said, you learn. You learn when you
Exactly. I wouldn't call it embarrassing, I would call it a lesson.
yeah.
And
It's nice.
sometimes we have to learn the same lesson several times.
That's very true. All right, Robin. Well, we've pretty much hit the hour. So, as I told you, I usually let the guests of the evening give their final thoughts. So, the floor is yours.
To the guests,
Yes,
yes. Okay, yes, okay. Like the floor is mine. It's actually my parents, they own the floor.
yes.
They should be back tomorrow. We hope, I don't know. Yeah. No, but this has been so cool. I really love the layout that you have here.
Oh, thank you.
It's fun. And I love that I had something to do tonight.
And that you weren't performing.
Well, I like performing. I genuinely do.
Yeah, but to a screen.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Have you done so? Monday Night Comedy now has done a thing where you can post new material,
Hmm.
like as a set. And so basically you record it before the time and then you send it in. And that for me was, I think, the weirdest gig I've done so far.
Why?
Because you're saying things, there's no feedback. Like, even in a live show, there's like comments or whatever, or the host is there. Like I love doing the stand-up set for Mario because he's engaging with you. He's acting like a whole audience. He's like, we're laughing with you. Even if I don't think it's funny, I'm going to throw in a sympathy chuckle, but it doesn't sound like a sympathy chuckle. It sounds like he means it. Where this is just you and the camera and that's it. And then you send it and then you wait for comments hours later.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it was just super interesting because it's also new material, because it's all brand new. You just think you're funny. And then, yeah, and then I got prints before and after, basically. And like, it was a great thing to practice in a way of, let's use this muscle. Okay, you've sat down and you've written something and you're going to record it like you mean it and then send that. So yeah, it was very interesting. And then you're going to wait hours for the feedback.
Exactly. That's cool, though. I don't know. Maybe I'll try it. Maybe I'll.
Still doing something,
Yeah, exactly. And we got to give a shout out to Mario who's in the chats. If you guys, for those of you who are watching, please go check out Mario's Laughter on Lockdown, where he also has comedians. Yeah, and that's every evening at 7:30. Chris is, I think, trolling my chats. Not really. I'm just kidding, Chris. Before answering any personal questions, is Robin the heir to a certain tire dynasty?
Such a funny joke. Oh my god, I love it. I am broke.
And he asks, "Where is Robin located?" I think this guy really likes you. I don't know why.
Send nudes, Chris. Send nudes.
All right. Well, now we know your type.
Been a while. I'm at the desert at the moment. Okay. My mom is also watching this, I think. I don't know.
Well, I don't know if this is gonna make you like Chris even more, but he's actually from the States and he lives in the States. So there you go.
That's what got my attention initially. And then the army thing. I don't know what it is. I watch Army Wives. I mean, I'm waiting for that day when that SUV arrives and the army men come and knock on your door with the flag. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I don't want you to die.
No, he's actually a pretty cool guy. Thanks, Chris, so much for tuning in, buddy. And thank everyone. I would like to thank everybody else for tuning in. Robin, do you have any final words for the audience that are watching? The audience that are watching in the future, maybe anything positive
Um,
or negative?
I think honestly, thank you for constantly supporting comedy because it's a really tough time. All as comedians, we love this thing, we love to entertain, and we love to tell jokes, and we can't do it without you. And it's really hard that we can't see you, but thank you constantly, and we're seeing the same names over and over, and we appreciate you so much. And if not we, I do. So thank you so much, guys. Love you.
Cool. I'll chat to you later,
And that
Robin.
is as sentimental as I will ever get.
Okay. Cheers, Robin. I'll chat to you a bit later. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Robyn Dunlop. I don't think she's an heir to the Tyre dynasty, but yeah, interesting that that is her name. We didn't talk about that. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Chris Wyatt says 36 years in the army. All right, cool. I'll let Robin know, and then yeah, you guys can take your weird relationship forward. Uh, thank you guys again so much for watching. It's been a great, great episode, and thank you, Robin, for also joining in. I would love to have you back again. Everyone's saying thank you. Thank you, McLary, Rochelle, Mario, Tracy. I see you all. Mr. Fasan, all of you. Please don't forget to share this video. Please don't forget to like and also subscribe if you haven't yet. I have a lot more content coming your way. Tomorrow, I'm sitting down with my friend Werner Weber, where we talk about those hard things to talk about. Sometimes it's conspiracy theories, and sometimes it's topics that, well, could get edgy and heated. And in this case, I might tackle the topic of racism has become colorblind. Now, that might be a bit of a touchy subject for some people, so only those that are interested can join us in the discussion, and we're going to not debate, we're going to have a discussion about it. And that's all I'm going to say. That was a topic sent in by one of our viewers who asked us to talk about it, so that's what we're going to do. And if there's any other topics you guys want us to talk about on Let's Talk, we will. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be back with Sit Down and Lockdown on Thursday, where I have 2 shows on Thursday coming up. If you want more information on that, just look at YouTube. All the upcoming shows are coming in, and Nick Rabinowitz will be here next week, Monday. So, sorry, brain fart there. Having said all that, ladies and gentlemen, good night. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please subscribe. Stay safe, and I'll see you at the next one. Good night.